I'm Becky from Your Horse Magazine, and I'm here at Your Horse Live 2015 with Charlotte Dujardin. Charlotte, you've just had your demonstration in the main arena. How did that go today?
Yeah, I've had 2 demonstrations today, so really happy with them both. I had a 6-year-old Mount St John freestyle this morning, and I just showed some of the basics that we work with the younger horses. And this afternoon I've just done a demonstration with Alice Oppenheimer riding her Grand Prix horse Headmore Delegate, and showed obviously some of the working movements of the Grand Prix test, and both horses were really good. They coped with the atmosphere and the people, and it's been a great experience.
Good. And you're bringing through quite a few young horses yourself now. How's that going compared to riding obviously the experience of Allegro?
I love it. I mean, for me, it's all about training the young horses, and it is great to have the older horses to sit on. But I feel really lucky. I've got a number of young horses coming through now, which are really special. And for me to get to train them and ride them, I mean, it's great because I don't think many people see me on different horses other than Allegro, or even know that I train younger horses, and I ride them from 3-4-year-olds all the way up, and I just love the training.
Because obviously you rode Allegro from a very young age as well, so not a lot of people know that, do they?
No,
they just see the finished product.
That's it. I started actually with Allegro when he was 4 coming 5, and that was when I first started with Carl, and he's now 12 or 13, he's 13, so I've been working with him for a long time, and it's great. I love that fact that you get that relationship and the partnership with the horses when you work for them from such a young age. You get to know them inside out, and it's such a great achievement when you get them to Grand Prix and you've done it all from the lower level.
Yeah. So within the next year, what are kind of your aims? Obviously we've got Rio next year, so that must be quite high on the list for you.
Yeah, got a lot of work going into Rio. We have a lot of preparation ahead for Rio. Obviously it's a 16-hour flight that he has to take, and we have to make sure he's fit enough, not just for obviously the competing side of things, but the travelling, getting used to the weather, acclimatising to it, and just staying fit and healthy himself. So we're actually going out in February to see Rio, but before all of that happens, I'm going to be competing in the World Cup Series, and I have younger horses competing in other competitions at home, so it's going to be very busy.
Busy schedule, hectic. And obviously here you were demonstrating on your own for the first time here. And what's it like compared, not having Carl with you? Is it quite different? Do you enjoy it, or?
Well, obviously I normally get told I'm not allowed to speak, so I'm never allowed a microphone. So I get put on the hold. I'm not allowed to speak. Carl does want to speak, and I do all the riding. And when I first started I've only been doing these demonstrations this year, so it's quite new to me to be doing it, and the first few times I felt so lost, so insecure that I didn't have Carl there, and now I'm kind of getting used to it, getting more confident doing them, and it's quite scary standing out there trying to explain everything, trying to get it across in the right way that people understand it, because I do things and I don't even realise I'm doing it, and then I'm like, oh god, I've got to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and so that's been the biggest challenge. But I mean, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm getting better and better each time.
Yeah, I think you're excelling at it. You're doing really well. And also you've just got back from a trip from India as well with the Brook.
Yeah.
What can you explain your involvement with them and how that came about?
So I'm an ambassador for the Brook Foundation, and myself and Alice Oppenheimer went out to India a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me to be an ambassador. I knew of the Brook, and then they asked if I'd be an ambassador, so I was like, absolutely, I'd love to be a part of it, try and help it. And you see video clips, you see posters, and it looks bad, but it's so easy to forget. And for me, I thought the only way I can really appreciate what the Brook is doing is to go and experience it. So when I said I was going to go, a lot of people are like, are you crazy? Are you sure you want to do that? It's going to be terrible. It's going to break your heart. And I thought, I prepared myself for the worst because I had been warned. They'd shown me some of the things that I may see, and it was heartbreaking. It was so sad to see some things I saw, but I learned so much in the sense that I saw the difference the brook made, and thank God for the brook, because if the brook hadn't been there doing the job they did, then there would be so many horses suffering, horses in bad conditions. They've changed so much that, you know, these people have no knowledge of looking after an animal. They don't, you know, these horses not only are their working horses, they are their livelihood. If they don't have these horses, they can't survive for themselves. So they use these horses, and with the brook giving them the knowledge of how to look after simple things as to brushing them, trimming their feet. I saw someone with a hammer and chisel to trim the feet. They didn't understand what the frog was for the foot, so they cut the frog out of the foot, so the brook then would come over and explain that you don't need to have a hammer and chisel to cut the feet. You could, you know, having a rasp or finding instruments that they could use to trim their feet, and obviously explaining what the frog does to them for the horse's foot, you know, giving them all this knowledge, and, you know, even simple things like carts and tack, you know, how to make it better and more comfortable for the animal. You know, I was, one of the first thing I said was, I think I could get a lot of my sponsors to come in and, you know, give them rugs and give them tack but like they said, that wouldn't work because they would sell it, or they're not learning. So basically the brook teaches them to provide for themselves and how to make it better, and with resources that they can get hold of and use, because if they can't use some of the stuff that they would be provided with, it's then not long term. So they try to fix it long term, and for me, going and experienced that, it was heartbreaking, it was very emotional, long days, but I'm so glad I did it, and it's something I will never forget, you know, and I've seen things and experienced things that I'm just so grateful for the brook, that they're there for that help. And my next trip will be to Ethiopia to do my next one.
When are you planning on going there?
So I want to do that after Rio next year.
Okay, it's 2016. Wow, so you have got a lot in the bag to get through.
I have.
Well, thank you very much, Charlotte.
Thank
Good luck
you.
for next year.
Thank
We're all
you.
rooting for you at Rio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.